Marijuana.
Mary Jane. Blueberry Yum Yum.
Weed.
Pot.
OG Kush. Alright guys, today I'm going to try to go over a very little bit about marijuana. About the history, about my history with it. Very, very brief history. Very brief. If marijuana history is a pepperoni pizza, what we're gonna go over is not a piece of the pizza. It's that pepperoni right there. Okay, so about a year ago, I had a friend come up to me and he's like, dude, you need to come over and we're gonna light up, we're gonna get some weed, we're gonna get some marijuana, yeah! And I was like, no, I want to keep my brain cells. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you should know that marijuana kills brain cells and it's bad for you. You can die and overdose. And he was like, what are you talking about? Go look online. It doesn't do that stuff. I don't know why I even listened to my pothead friend, but I did, and I went online and I started doing some research. I found out some very interesting things, and so I started smoking marijuana about like once every week, every 2 weeks, over a course of about 6 months.
My parents found my stash.
Ever since then, I've been explaining it to a lot of people, so I thought, well, why don't I just make a video? So this is it. Let's talk a little bit about Prohibition. Prohibition has never worked. Think about Adam and Eve. They were prohibited to eat the forbidden fruit. That didn't work. Alcohol prohibition didn't work. The war on drugs doesn't work.
The war on drugs has been an utter failure.
So why is marijuana still illegal?
And greatly frowned upon.
There's got to be some kind of negative health effects, right? What about it killing brain cells?
1974, the Heath Tulin study. Ronald Reagan announces, the most reliable scientific sources say permanent brain damage is one of the inevitable results of the use of marijuana. Monkeys pumped full of marijuana, apparently 30 joints a day, had begun to atrophy and die after 90 days. Brain damage was determined after counting the dead brain cells of both monkeys who had been subjected to the marijuana and ones who had not. This study became the foundation of the government and other special interest groups' claim that marijuana kills brain cells. Here's what they didn't tell you. After 6 years of requests, how the study was conducted was finally revealed. Instead of administering 30 joints a day for 1 year, Dr. Heath used a method of pumping 63 Colombian-strength joints through a gas mask within 5 minutes over 3 months.
They suffocated the monkeys. What they did is they put these gas masks basically on their face and they pumped pot into it, but without additional oxygen. So after X amount of time, the brain shut down. Well, if you suffocate, the first thing that's going to happen is your brain cells are going to die with lack of oxygen. So what they did is they suffocated the monkey, showed all these dead brain cells, and then went on to associate it by saying that cannabis use causes your brain cells to die. And how many people, not knowing the origin of the study, have gone on to quote it and re-quote it. And now people believe it.
Studies since have shown no signs of any brain cell damage. In 2005, new research suggested that marijuana could possibly stimulate brain cell growth. That study hasn't received the same attention.
Okay, well, what about marijuana causing lung cancer and other cancers?
We've been hearing for years them trying to say that it causes lung cancer, and we say, really, that's interesting because you can't even show us one case of cancer being caused by cannabis use alone.
You definitely have to do it moderately because it does paralyze the cilia, but if it's not radioactive, you're probably not going to get cancer from it.
Smoking can be harmful because of the properties of smoke.
Not as a result of anything in the cannabis plant, but because they're intaking heated plant matter into their lungs.
Who says you have to smoke it? I like brownies.
There's no cases of marijuana-only smokers getting brown lung syndrome. There's no cases of marijuana-only smokers getting emphysema. Strange for a plant that's so dangerous.
So how many people have died from the use of marijuana? The illegal, dangerous plant that it is.
I'll give you a hint.
There are no deaths from cannabis use. Anywhere. You can't find one.
In 10,000 years of known use of marijuana, there's never been a single death attributed to marijuana.
There are no deaths.
$440,000 deaths in America alone every year directly attributed to tobacco use. 250,000 people die every year from drunk driving. Alcohol and tobacco are legal, yet marijuana's killed nobody and it's illegal, and if you're caught doing it, you'll get fined thousands of dollars or go to prison. What about the theory that if you smoke marijuana, you're automatically going to want to go on to do stronger drugs and get addicted to other things. After I smoked marijuana, the last thing I was thinking about was more drugs. This is what I looked like. Now it could be said that if you never smoked your first joint of marijuana, you would never go on to do hard drugs like heroin, meth, cocaine, morphine, Oxycontin. It could also be said that if you never tried ice cream, that you wouldn't be morbidly obese. Is that to say that everybody who's tried ice cream is going to eat a ton of ice cream and go on and eat cheeseburgers and chocolate all at the same time and become morbidly obese and die of heart disease? Think about that.
Every time it's been studied and looked at and so on, they have never ever found that there's certainly nothing in marijuana that makes you want to go to anything else.
Anything can be abused. You can drink too much water and drown to death. So why is marijuana not accepted in our society? Maybe it's because it makes you lazy. Maybe it's because you have to be a hippie or a punk metal rocker or a gangster rapper to smoke it.
Eyes wide shut, clothes reek of marijuana. It's the fee up in here, got it looking like a sauna.
But have you ever thought about maybe someone like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates?
When I was a kid, I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
So what if they were to have gotten caught and convicted smoking whenever they did? We probably wouldn't have computers as we know them today, and we probably wouldn't have a lot of politicians that we have today.
Which of you are ready to admit to having used marijuana in the past? And they want us to go around and ask each of you. Senator Kerry, yes or no? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Senator Edwards? Yes. Senator Lieberman?
Marijuana also has a million medical uses. It's been known to treat symptoms that most artificially created drugs can't even treat. It's natural. It's 100% natural. It's a plant. There's no additives. It's grown with water and sun.
Even Francis Young, the DEA's own judge, who took medical testimony for over 2 weeks, made this statement. Marijuana, in its natural form, is one of the safest, therapeutically active substances known to man. Yet, despite this, and the ever-mounting number of real-world patient success stories, cannabis remains listed as a Schedule I narcotic. Under that category, marijuana is classified as having no known medical value.
I have multiple sclerosis. Hold on, don't
When we
wait.
first met Greg, his shaking was so severe that he informed us that he would need a few puffs of marijuana in order to participate in the interview. The difference was night and day. What do you say to those that say marijuana needs to be tested and regulated and have the high taken out for pharmaceutical companies to consider it a valuable medicine?
Huh. That's a pretty, and I only mean this as a measurement, as to how much it is actually a pathetic thing to say.
The following are medical uses that marijuana has been proven to help: Alzheimer's, mental disorders, lung cancer, breast cancer, insomnia, like I seem to have right now, HIV/AIDS, brain cancer, depression, ALS, multiple sclerosis, as we just saw, and so many more. Yet it's still illegal, which makes no sense. I know it's hard to believe, just one person on the internet, so I challenge you to do your own research like I did. Do your research, people. You've got homework. Don't be ignorant. Knowledge is power. I'm a very strong supporter of having your own beliefs and knowing why you believe the things that you do. Okay, it's now 5:02 in the morning. I've been working on this video a very, very long time.
So don't take it lightly. The only way that anything will ever change is if people speak up, and if voters vote for common sense. We really got to get this legalized because it truly is an injustice to the people who really need it and people who really want it. If you have any questions or if you want to ask me something, go ahead and shoot me a message or comment below and I'll try to respond to it. So good night everyone, or good morning. I can hear birds chirping outside. Just FYI, I do not smoke anymore. I had to realize that smoking it isn't really worth the risk of getting caught. I can tell you firsthand that it really does change your reputation. Even though when I was doing it, people really didn't notice a difference in me, but now that they found out and I stopped, people have started treating me different. I don't recommend people smoking until it's legal.